Al, and thank you for joining me today for Uncommon Sense.
Thank you very much for having me, as always.
And we've got a real piece of uncommon sense as topic today. I love a controversial topic, or a controversial title, should I say. So we're going to talk today about lean is not about efficiency. It's about abnormality at a glance. And my first question is going to be not what do you mean, but actually why this topic?
Yeah, it's something I'm vastly passionate about, and something I specialise in delivering for our kind of master black belt. And it's always the session that people come away going, "This has totally changed the way I think about lean," or at the very least they go, "I've never looked at it that way." And for me, it was born and bred what I learned kind of through the Toyota method, and I just see it get so easily missed in every organisation and every industry I've seen since, frankly. And it is really the core of why we see so many lean failures, or people struggling to gain that momentum or real drive to move things forward.
Okay, interesting. Great, I can't wait. So tell me, what is this about then? What does it mean for you?
So how I summarize everything is when we talk about continuous improvement, problem solving, Kaizen, whatever term you want to use, really, we often fall into the trap, and many, I would say, business leaders do this, of thinking that they're looking for the new method, the new system that will help them cut costs, reduce defects, and I'll try to say add customer value, improve efficiency is probably the big one. And the reality is, I always say that tools don't fix problems, people do. In the same way that a screwdriver is not the thing that screws a screw into a piece of wood. It's the connecting piece between the work that needs to be done and the person or the machine behind it. The screwdriver just gives you a means to do it. And lean is so often misunderstood as something that is a series of tools, a toolbox where you drive efficiency and you create improvement. And the general idea is actually it's that very message that is what creates its failure. And the reality is lean was never really about making things more efficient. It was always about enabling the people who do the work and the people who see the work be able to thoroughly understand it in more detail so that they can understand what is stopping them from being more efficient.
Okay.
And so it's the subtle shift between lean will make me more efficient. Well, no, people will make you more efficient if you give them the capability. But to do that, first you need to see what the actual problems holding you back are. That's where the lean tools come in, to allow you to see your processes and your systems in better detail so you can problem solve them. They're the vessel between the coalface of what has to be done to the people who have to address the process. That's all.
Okay. So talk to me about how that manifests itself in reality. Maybe give us some examples.
Yeah, so biggest one, I often ask everyone this, of what is the point of standardised work, right? And the common answers that will come across on this one is, well, it gives an instructional guide to make things repeatable, reproducible, get the same quality no matter who's doing it all the time, every time. Okay. Would you agree with that general definition?
Yeah. Yes, I'd probably want to add slightly to it, but that's because I spend a lot of time with Warren Knight, who is very clear that standardization is the best known way in order that, and then the other things that you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing, the best known working way. And so then when people often talk about, well, it gives you that means of this is how we repeatedly do something, I then kind of go, yes, but no. Because I also then say, well, if that's what it does, how often are we following it? And how often is it creating a repeatable output? And the answer is almost never, because people aren't following it is the most common one. They should just follow it, but they don't. And the reality is, as you say, that the standardised work was never the instruction. Because I always say one of two things. If you actually require an instructional guide to do a task, it means one or two things. Either the person's not been trained well enough and they've not built the habit, or the process is too complex and needs simplifying. And this doesn't take away from the fact that there are processes inherently that are naturally complex, of course. I'm not decrying that whatsoever. But it's like me, if I get into a car with you and jump in the passenger seat with a standard operating procedure and go, here's how you drive properly, you'd probably kick me out of the car. And because you don't need that anymore to get from A to B. There might be some bad habits. But what it does allow me to do, if I can get a good definition as to what is good practice for you, and what that best practice is, and what is the best known way, I can sit in the passenger seat and see immediately when you deviate from it. And it's the same thing when I go to problem solve a process. The first thing I'll do is go to the Gemba, go and see the actual process, be it in an office or a manufacturing shop floor, and pick up the standardised work. And more often than not, I'm met with, oh, don't bother reading that, it's not accurate, it's not up to date. And I go, well, why does it exist then? What's the point?
Yeah.
Right? But actually, if it's there and I go, well, if this is the best known working way, I look at that and look at what do the people actually do. And I go, step one, yeah, they do step one. Step two, they do step three, they did something different. Why? And people think I'm there to try and penalise the person. No, I'm going to assume that that person is doing their best. And as soon as I can see that deviation, now I've spotted a problem without having to search for it. Now I can understand my system in more detail. I can open the rabbit hole. And had I not had the standardised work, I could have just walked past it and been none the wiser. You know, I don't know if it's a problem or not. Having the standardised work, the best known method, I can then go, oh, they did something different. Why is that? Oh, well, usually the parts get delivered here, and actually they were delivered to the other side this time. Interesting, why has that happened? Suddenly the 5 why starts popping out, and you are opening the rabbit hole. But it was that standardised work. It wasn't about instructing the person. It was instructing me to better see how the actual person doing the work can actually execute value.
But that then, for me, that also comes down to a different question again, which is the whole, well, I guess there's sort of 2 parts to it. One is the whole going to Gemba and observing and the requirement of that. And how often do people do that in reality? And when they go, do they have their own system? So I remember the first time working with Damien on leader standard work and things like process confirmation, where I'd not heard of that before talking to Damien about it, and then understanding process confirmation, which is what I think you've just described, really, is that watching people do the work from a standard and noticing when they deviate and then inquiring why. But again, how often do people understand that?
Yeah, and this is why I think this is such an important topic. So I know lots of places who talk about audits and process confirmations, but when I ask them what they actually do, yes, they'll go down and see what actually happens, but it becomes a compliance piece again or a correction activity. And it's not about correction. It's not about compliance. You can say as much as you want, oh, you just need to follow the standardised work. Well, my first reflection is why can't they? Right? And often I go back to what habits have you developed in their standardised work? And we all know now, and I think COVID has actually been problematic for this to a degree, in you learn on the job now. And I go, no, that's foreign. That for me is like saying you need to learn how to drive, putting you in the driver's seat by yourself and going away you go. No, you need someone there who can take you through those basics and correct the things along the way before they let you out onto the motorways, right? But we don't do that in work a lot anymore. It is very much fast-paced, bit of onboarding, in you go, you'll learn on the job, and then wonder why they don't execute standardised work. Well, because we've not built the habit. And the same goes with, this is where I say any lean tool. You can talk about 5S. I ask people, what's the point of 5S? Well, you organise your workplace in a way that it's efficient and it's more effective for you to do what you need to, and there's no rubbish everywhere. And we kind of know this in the middle bit, but then I kind of go, the best 5S training I've seen was done by a little old man who couldn't speak a word of English, and he did it in about 2 minutes. And all he did was put a scattered bunch of shapes on a table, got everyone to look at it for a few seconds, said, right, turn around. He took one, put it behind his back, got him to turn back round and said, which one did I take? And they all went, I don't know. And he went, right, okay, let me get rid of the stuff I don't need. Let me put my shadow board in place and give everything a place. Now he's got silhouettes and outlines, everything, puts everything in its place. Right, turn around, takes one, turn back round. Which one did I take? All the green stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Without 5S, the 5S was never about the efficiency gain of that. The 5S was about now you as a manager, as a leader who's here to help support solving problems. You only need to walk past and you see it. I.e.,
Yes.
you can now see abnormalities at a glance, in a heartbeat. And now that you can see it, first step to solving a problem is knowing you've got one. Now you know you've got one, you can now investigate. But people constantly conflate this with it gives you the efficiency. Yes, it does as a byproduct. But
Yes.
actually, the purpose there of the tool is to give you a vessel to understand your process better. Because then the worst thing people do with 5S, something is missing, a tool's missing. Oh, let's go and find it and put it back. You've now just defeated the whole purpose of it, which was, well, no, why was it gone in the first place? That's the more important question, not where is it. Yes, once you find where it is and you can put it back, fine. But now the bigger question is, well, why did that happen in the first place? Now I go into parts of the system I didn't know before I walked outside my office. The lean tools, for want of a better phrase, I say, slap you around the face with your problems so you can actually see them. It's up to you what you do with them. Lean tools don't fix them.
And don't, have to be necessarily only the responsibility, of course, of the leader, do they? Because
Absolutely.
actually, it should be about arming everybody to be able to ask the question, so what's going wrong here?
Exactly. Well, now I said you go into other lean concepts like Jidoka, the automation with a human touch, the idea of giving equipment the ability to stop when there is a problem before it moves on. Again, that the whole premise of that is to allow people who do the actual value-adding work to be able to systematically and automatically detect issues as they arise and stop them. Now a leader can come in with them and work together with the person who actually does the work and has been doing it for long enough to engage their brain on what the actual work is, what the problem has arisen, and how we can go about learning to address it, i.e. through my PDSA, right? And experiment our way through learning it. And it's the leader's task to be able to enable those systems so that people can take initiative and also develop the people on the process by using their knowledge and capabilities, but developing them to be better problem solvers. And the lean tools are the things that allow you to do it. They're not the thing that drives efficiency. The people do. And it's only how you react to the lean tool that determines that. And the best testament to this is we talk about Andon. Andon is probably my favourite concept because that epitomises everything that every lean tool is about, which is at the value-adding work, have a means of raising a problem when there is a problem, no matter how small, whether you think it's your fault or whether you don't think it's your fault. If I give someone an Andon to pull an alarm, and the first thing the leader does when they come over and go, stop bothering me, get on with your job, again, totally derailed the whole purpose. Now you've created a bad environment and they're not going to bother. If, however, they come over to thoroughly understand what had happened and then engage with you on how we can improve the process, even if you think it's your fault, it's not your fault. The problem isn't that it happened. The problem is that it could happen. Now the Andon, by pulling that cord and raising the alarm, now we know, right? And now we can look into it. And all the lean tools actually fundamentally do this. People just don't realise.
And then in the general, we need a deeper level of thinking, don't we? That's what people need.
Absolutely. And if you summarise everything above all else, when we talk about Muda, Yuri, Mura, Kanban, all of these things, again, you can pop off the top of your head the textbook that says they reduce inventory and they're to even out things, Hijunka, even out workflow. Yes, that will help. But actually part of the reason why we do that is because once I have a stable, even flow of stuff, it's really easy to see when something then goes bang. If everything's erratic constantly, it just gets lost in the noise. If everything seems stable, suddenly something goes bang, I see it straight away. And they're all interconnected to try and do that same thing. It's down to you how you respond to them, how you solve them that gives you your efficiency.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Niall. Great having this conversation with you. Really enjoyed it.